Hello YouTube, welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason, and as always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We have content coming out every single week. So now that we've gone over the center action and how center action works and how those bets work, I want to talk about how great some of these bets may or may not be. Now, I want to preface this with the understanding that there is no bet in a casino that favors the player. There are some bets that have better likelihood than others, but all bets have a house edge. That's why it's gambling. The casinos would not exist if there was no house edge. They have to make their money some way, shape, or form. That does not mean that people cannot or do not win. It just means that the odds are slightly against you. So when we talk about whether or not a bet is a good bet, we talk about the likelihood of it winning. Just because it's more likely to lose than to win does not make it a bad bet. Every bet is more likely to lose than to win. Now, with that being said, what I want to talk about are hot bets. I want to talk about hot bets. Now, hot bets are, as we covered before, single roll bets. They are betting the next roll of the dice. One roll of the dice and betting a specific combination of the dice. For instance, you're betting the 5-4. If you want to bet on the 9, you might hop the 5-4, right? Because that's what we call a low side or an easy way. It's not a pair. That means there's two different ways for it to come. It can come 5-4 or it can come 4-5. For example, you've got the 5 and the 4, but by the same token, it could come 4-5. It's the same number, but there's two different ways for it to come. That makes it a low side, an easy side. Of the 36 ways that the dice can roll, there's 2 ways for that, so it's a 1 in 18 chance. If it's a pair, then it's high side. There's only one possible way for it to come, 1 in 36. Okay? So, the hot bets. 5-4, 4-5, you could hop that. It'd be one roll, the next roll of the dice. If it comes, it wins, fantastic. If anything else comes, it loses. Okay? Some people will bet, say, a two-way 9, where they are going to bet both the 5-4 and the 6-3. That's $1 each. Right? There's 4 ways for that to come out of the 36 chances, 36 combinations of the dice. That makes it a 1 in 9 chance. It's going to have a 1 in 9 chance for this combined bet, betting 2 different bets. It's 1 in 9 chance of one of those 2 bets hitting. It's going to pay 7-1 of the combined bet. That means that your $2 bet is going to pay you $14 because the individual dollar will pay you 15-1 for whichever number hits minus the dollar that lost. So, should you bet hot bets? Absolutely, you should bet hot bets if it's adding to your game, if it's adding to the fun of the game. Hot bets are exciting bets. That's why the high-low or the 11-12, that's why those are such popular bets. Or just hopping the yo, the 11. That's a super popular bet. Hopping the yo happens all the time. Hopping high-lows happen all the time. $2 high-lows. We see those all the time. And those are exciting bets, especially when they hit. Problem with something like the high-low is similar to hopping a low side like the yo, is that, again, 1 in 18 chance of it hitting. But when it does, it's fun. I'm not going to say it pays a lot. Some people act like this is going to pay them an absolute life-changing amount of money. You know, they bet a $2 high-low, it rolls, and they start screaming and yelling and running around the table and jumping around and high-fiving, and then they get paid $29. $29 is not exactly life-changing. That's not even really one bet for me as far as, say, going across plus a pass line bet or something along those lines, or even just place bets across, including the point. So it's not life-changing money. Now, if you were to bet, say, $100 high-low, and it hits, well, now you're looking at some pretty decent money. You're looking at a decent little payout. I actually had a guy last night that was doing a hop on the 9s. Funny I should mention the 9s. Maybe that's where it came from. He was betting the 9s. He was hopping the 9s, and he was hopping them for $50. He was hopping a two-way 9 for $50. There was $25 each on the 6-3 and the 5-4. That hit once, and that was very, very exciting for him. That was fantastic because he was getting $350. That's pretty solid. That gave him enough to make a few more bets here and there. He actually also hit a hopping the two-way 10s. Now, the two-way 10s have both a low side and a high side. Unfortunately, he hit on the low side, so he only got paid $350. If it would have hit on the high side, that would have been a nice little pay. Now, should you bet this all the time? No. This should be fun. This should expand your enjoyment of the game. Okay, this should expand your enjoyment of the game. This should make it more fun for you to bet. Again, add to your excitement of the game. It should be an additional piece to what you're doing. Hot bets should not be your primary way of betting. You shouldn't be betting the same hot bets every single time, or that should not be the primary strategy of what you were trying to do. It also should not be eating up every penny of profit that you're making in other spots. If you are hopping, 5 different numbers and then placing a couple, so when something else hits, you're making just enough to put your hops back up. You're running on a treadmill. You're spinning in place. You're just spinning your wheels for absolutely no benefit whatsoever. Could that somewhat be viable? Absolutely, in that you're basically counting on the hot bets to hit and only the hot bets to hit. The other bets are hedge against your hot bets not hitting. I suppose there could be a case to be made for that, but honestly, you're wasting money. We see it all the time. People that are winning $20 and spending $20, win $20, spend $20, win $20, spend $20. We end up with this fantastic roll. Everybody makes a whole bunch of money except for one individual person, and that person just happened to be playing mostly center action. So again, use the hot bets to expand your fun of the game. Here's why it is not the best bet to do if it's your sole bet. Because of how it pays and that there's a better game for it. So, we're going to look at the high sides. Okay? The high sides, which is any pair. Okay? These are all days, so they pay a little bit different. But if you can hop the hard ways as well, the symbol was probably on the layout in some casinos. Other casinos, it's not. But you can still hop it. They have their own ways of keeping track how we set it up. Right? So you can certainly hop the hard ways. Any of them, there's a 1 in 36 chance of hitting. They pay 30 to 1. Right? Well, let's think about this. Is there another game that has similar odds to 1 in 36? Yes. Roulette. Roulette, there's a 1 in 38 chance of something hitting. So it's a very, very small difference there, 1 in 36 versus 1 in 38. But let's look at the payouts. 30 to 1 in roulette, 35 to 1. It's a huge, huge, huge difference in the payouts. So if your primary goal, your primary strategy, how you bet is within the hot bets, you're better off playing roulette. Just go play roulette. In fact, that is something that the dice dealers will say to each other is, well, I wasn't dealing a dice game yesterday, I was dealing a roulette game that pays worse. So roulette game, 1 in 38 ways of hitting something. Dice, 1 in 36 ways of hitting, say, a hard way. So almost the same odds. Roulette pays 35 to 1. Dice pays 30 to 1. Okay. So then you're thinking, well, what about the low side, the easy ways, the non-pairs? Okay. The 5-4. Well, let's say you bet a $2 5-4, just a 5-4. Well, you have a 1 in 18 chance of hitting it. Why? Because technically you're betting 2 different combinations of the dice, 5-4 and 4-5. Just like if you were to bet 2 different numbers in roulette. Only there you would have a 1 in 19 chance. And guess what? They pay better in roulette. So, that said, if hot bets are your primary betting strategy, you're sold where you make the most of your money, if your entire bet is based off a $15 high-low-yo every single roll, you're wasting your money. You'd be better off going over to roulette and betting 4 numbers, because that's basically what you're betting with a high-low-yo. 2 combinations here, 2 combinations in here. You'd be better off going and betting a $15 4-way corner in roulette. Your odds would be almost the same. Your payouts would actually turn out to be better. Same thing if your entire betting strategy is to bet a $20 horn bet every single roll. I'm bringing these up because both of these are things that I've seen just in the last couple of days. Players that every single roll they have a horn bet. They may have like a 16 inside or something along those lines, but their primary strategy is to hit a horn bet or to hit a high-low. Another player that we had the other day, he was betting $40 high-low every single roll. The problem with that is that, again, he's got better odds playing on a roulette table and doing $40 two numbers. So if your strategy is primarily hot bets, they're not bad bets. Hot bets are fun bets. The payouts are not super horrible, and of course there's a house edge. There's a house edge in everything within the casino, so there's going to be a house edge. You're not going to find a bet that doesn't have a house edge and that favors you. So hot bets, they're enjoyable, they're fun, they're a blast, especially when they hit. You got your three-way crap, and you decide to bet at one roll, and damned if it doesn't hit. You're jumping around, yelling, screaming. If you have a $3 three-way crap every single roll, again, it's not exactly life-changing money, so why are you wasting money every single roll on it when you could just be going over to a roulette table and betting the same amount and having the same odds but winning somewhat better payouts? It just makes more sense if your primary betting strategy is hot bets to just go playing roulette. There seems to be some kind of mental distinction with players that playing craps is cool, playing roulette is not. Hopping everything in craps is cool and some brilliant strategy, when in reality all you're doing is you're taking roulette and putting it onto a dice table. And I'll tell you this too, dice dealers, if you're betting the exact same things every single time, dice dealers start keeping it in their heads. And you do hear players or dice dealers that will actually make a joke about that at some point. For instance, you have a player that bets a $2 high-low every single roll. Once we've noticed that they're betting this every single roll with no exceptions, we actually start keeping track of it, and that's when you start getting some amusing comments. Like when it finally hits, you might hear the dealer, the stick person, say, "Go ahead and pay that player over there $29. It only cost him $50 to hit it." Because we actually kept track, and yeah, you bet it 25 times before it hit. Amazing. So hot bets are fun. They're exciting. They're definitely a bet that is worth playing. They're not a bet that is worth playing every single roll. One roll bets in dice are just not great bets to do every single roll. Thank you for watching. As always, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will catch you next time.